everyone, Karen here, and I'm here with the materials from Craftaganza, class number 8. Now, for this card, I'm only going to use half of what the decoupage was. I'm going to use this smaller little home here. The bigger house, I'm going to leave for a different card, because to me, this, with all the flowers, kind of goes together really well and would make a nice little feminine card. But I think if you skip the flowers and use this little house that looks more like maybe a little hunting lodge or something, with the papers from Woodland Friends, I'm going to make this a masculine card. So I'm going to use the trees, I'm going to use the house, and all the pieces that go with it. I have one of the clouds. I have a happy birthday with a shadow. This is going to be a card that's an easel card that when you pop it up, the topper is going to stand on the top. So I have two pieces that are 2 1/4 by 6 3/4 that will go on the front. I have two pieces that are 2 by 6 1/2 that are going to go on top of this. And this is from Woodland Friends. For the inside, I have one that is 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 and a 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And this is the salad pad that's also from Woodland Friends. It's the linen card. And these will go on the inside. For my stopper, I have a message that says, "May your birthday be as wonderful and extraordinary as you are. Here's to another fantastic year." That will be the stopper, like I said. Then I'm going to put all of this in a frame, in a topper on the front. Now, to make this, let me move all these things back in my box. Move that over here. To make this frame, I wanted it a little thicker so I could put foam underneath it. So I used the biggest die. I skipped the next one and went down to the third one. I can pick it up here. And this is how I made this frame. I made it just a little bit wider. Now, that left this middle one in between here. So what I'm going to do with this one is to make it a little easier when I try to line everything up. I'm going to start off here. I have a piece of white here that I can ink on. And I'm going to cut this out. And this is what I'm going to attach everything to. And I'm going to ink some sky and things in the back. And this way when I line everything up, because this will be slightly smaller, it just makes it a little easier to line everything up. So let me cut this out and I'll be right back. Alright, so here's my background that I will be inking here in a moment. So let me put this to the side. And I don't need this piece. Bring in a piece of scrap. Put this on here. Now I'm going to use the blue Duet ink since this is what came in the kit. I've been trying to stick to what came in the kit. A couple times I've had to deviate, and I will be using some Friar Brown also on this. But I'm trying really hard to stick to the kit. Alright, so I have my ink, my brush here. And brush this up a little bit. Now I'm going to go over here first because I don't want this to be too dark. This just needs to be sky. So we just want this to be kind of light. Now I'm only going to do the top part there. Because I may need to put a little bit of green here on the bottom. So let's look at these pieces. So this piece is going to go here. In the trees, these are going to be the two bottom layers. So I will. This part down here is going to need to be green. So let me grab some green. I think I'll use Grasshopper. Let me ink this up. And we'll go across the bottom. Now let me look at the bottom of this to see how that's going to match up. That's a little bright. I think I'm going to go a little darker. So I have Pine Tree. Let me see how that is. So I think I need something a little darker. Yeah, I think this is a better color. Yeah, that blends much better. All right. all we need of that. And let's see, I'm going to put a little bit more blue sky on there. Ooh, that is way too dark. Alright, now this over here is a little darker than I would like. So I'm going to spritz a little water on here and pick that up a little bit. Since this is water reactive. There we go. Even though that isn't watercolor paper, you still can do that and just pick it up. Now we'll just smooth it out. Where is my scrap so I don't do that again? There we go. I think we'll just leave it like that. Alright, now let's take our pieces. So our cloud here will obviously go on here, and the trees are going to go in the background, so we don't need to do anything with those. But what we need to do something with are these pieces here. So I have 1/16 foam that is 1/4 of an inch thick, and I think this will be small enough to do what I want to do here. I have some scissors, and let me cut a little piece here. So I want to put this under the house. Let me snip this a little bit. There you go. Clean that up just a little bit. So I'll put a piece on here and down on the bottom. We'll line this up here. Like that. Now this piece is the door and the fence, which will come out a little bit further. So I have to decide if I want to put it up on foam or just glue it on top. Let's see. If I bring it out here, I think that's going to be too much. I think I'm going to glue it just on top. Yeah, I don't think I want that any taller than that. So I am just going to glue by the door, and behind the fence we'll get a little piece of foam to support it, because it is going to have a space behind it. Yep. Have a little spot sticking to it there from where I pulled it out. And that go like that. Alright, let me see if this will come off. I'm going to line that up a little bit better. Let's see. Let me look at the top here. Here we go. That's a little better. Now I'll put this on. Here, like that. Now I have to decide if I want to leave the tree in the background behind the house, or if I want to bring it forward to be in front of the house. Now to bring it forward, I'm going to need 2 layers. So let me cut a piece off here. I'm going to cut this about in half. I'm going to stick them together. So now I have 2 layers. let's see, I will need to stick this right here. Like this. That brings the tree a little forward. There we go. Alright, so let's look at our topper here. So the trees will be behind here, glued down flat. Then our house will be here, which we have 1/8 of a thickness now, so we can put another layer on there if we want to. If you want to bring the house out a little bit more. That's it, because we do have to allow space for the frame. Yeah, I don't think I want to bring the house out anymore. But what I want to do with the house, let's see. Yeah, I think I will put one layer of foam on here. Maybe. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do with these trees is I'm going to put some foam across the top, but glue the bottom down. Make sure everything is here. And it's going to be inside the frame. So let me lay the frame down here so I can see how much room I have to work with. Alright. So the roof of the house will be over here. So I'm going to put these trees all the way over. So the bottom part will be glued and flat, but that just gives the top of the trees just a little bit of dimension. Okay, now when you look at it, it just gives your trees just a little bit of shape. But they still look grounded and attached to the ground, because you don't want floaty trees. So then this house will come in here. I think that's about where I want it. So this will be the frame. That will be the house. We can put the cloud behind the trees and the happy birthday on the bottom. Yep, I think that's what we're headed for. Alright. So let's glue down the cloud. That will slide in behind the tree here. Put it up a little higher. Like that. Now we'll glue this down. I think I will do the same to the house. I will put just a piece across the top. That way the house doesn't look like it's floating. The ground will be attached. The ground here. There, like that. And the frame will go over the top like this. So the top of the frame here is going to need 1/8 thick foam. Now the foam I have is a little thicker, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut strips and just cut this in half, because this is 1/2 inch wide. I really only want it to be 1/4 inch wide. So I am going to carefully cut this in half. So put a piece here and here. Put Put some across the bottom here. Oh, these are sticking to my scissors. This is where having different widths of foam is beneficial, because then you wouldn't have to do this. That will go on there. And I think I just want a little piece for here. That should do it. Once I get this on, I'll decide where I want to put the well. There we go. See, this tree looks like it's floating a little bit, so I need to put some glue under this tree and anchor the bottom down. You'll see when this is dry what I mean between it floating. See, now it looks like it goes there. The tree has dimension, but the grass is still on the ground. It's not floating up in the air. All right. There we go. Now, let's talk about this for a minute. Let's get this all glued together. I still may do something different with that topper. Oh wait, let's look at the well. I think the well will go over here in the front. May not need the well. I think I'm going to glue the well down so it looks like it's behind the house. There we go. All right, so I have my 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. I'm going to take my 2 by 6 1/2 and put them on top. This goes on the front. Let's see here. This way. You see, this is here and that's here, so I want to make sure they match up. So this one will go on top. And this one goes right here. I will open the card, and inside I have a 6 1/2 by 4 1/2, which I will glue to the green 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. go on the inside. Right. Now, because I already have 1/8 of an inch here, and I need to put something under this stopper, I'm going to glue these two together. I'm not going to put any foam in between them, or else it will be getting too thick. So this is 3 1/4 by 3. So it's going on a 3 1/2 by 3 1/4. That is very crooked. Alright, so I have recut this to 2 3/4 by 3. So that makes this 3 by 3 1/4. Yeah, and that was very, very crooked. And now it's not. So now we're okay. So now let's glue this down. And looky there, all nice and straight. Okay, so I will take the 1/8 foam and I will put this underneath. I will put a piece here, one in the middle, one at the bottom, these are all the pieces I cut off. So this will go down here. And this is going to stand up like this. So we'll just put that there. And this is going to sit up here. Now, I'm not crazy about the way the back of this looks, so I am going to cut another piece and put it on the back here. Alright, so this is the biggest die in the set, so it matches the outside of this frame. And I am going to put it on the back here. So I just need a little bit of glue. Yeah, this just looked way too messy back here. And now putting the green on the back will give it a nice finished look. Now I'm going to put some glue on here so I can slide it into place. Like that. Get it all lined up. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Now this part up here that is sticking out, I am just going to take the edge of my scissors and just push it in. Because the foam will mash up and it will stay there. There, that looks a little better. See if there's any other spots where it's sticking out where I don't like it. I will push that back a little bit. And push this back. There we go. Yeah, see, that looks a lot better now. I still have a little piece here sticking up, and I just need to pull that off. There we go. There, that just makes it look a lot more finished. Now you could go around and color that green if you wanted to. Now I'm just going to attach this. Now I'm going to line up these points with the fold in the card. So I know all the glue is going to go down in this bottom part here, and across here, and below where that point is. I will line this up. Points right on there. There we go. Now we just need the happy birthday, which again, I have so much thickness on here, so I'm just going to glue this down. I don't want to add any more bulk to it. be in the bottom or the top. If I put it on the top, I can put a little foam underneath it, a 1/16 inch. Because the stopper is down here, up here won't be as thick, so I can put a little bit of foam on that. So let's do that, I think. Or I may just glue it on there. Let's see. So when this is standing up, that will be up here. Yeah, I think that does need a little bit of foam. So I think I'm just going to put it in the middle though. So if I go too far over, it's going to hang down. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all I want. I'll turn this upside down so I can actually see what I'm doing here. There we go. So there we have it. Happy birthday. And I think that would be fine to give to a man. I think maybe I would color this green here. So let me grab a marker. Now I just grabbed a green that I had, and I'm just going to go across here just to get rid of some of that white. Yeah, that's better. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed this card. If you did, give me a thumbs up, because that's indeed how YouTube counts everything. And consider subscribing to my channel. And I will clean this up and get ready for the next class. And until then, stay crafty.